No King's Day 2.0 is scheduled to be one of the largest protests in American history. And tonight, I want to take a moment and talk about what we should expect on October 18th, but also to talk about many of the lies and mistruths that are actually being spread about these upcoming protests. No King's Day 2.0 is the second iteration of the protests we saw on June 14th earlier this year, where this is a conservative estimate. 5 million Americans came out on the streets across the country, protests in all 50 states against the Trump administration, against Elon Musk at the time, making their voices heard. The second iteration of No King's Day is scheduled for none other than October 18th, in just less than 1 week. And there, protest organizers are expecting a historic turnout, more than 10 million people across the globe. Thousands of events, over 2,000 events, have been scheduled in all 50 states around the United States of America, along with countries across the world. This is scheduled to be one of the largest protests in world history. But that hasn't stopped those around the White House from trying to discredit it, trying to keep people home, trying to scare people from coming. At a news conference on Capitol Hill this week, House Majority Whip Tom Emmer claimed, quote, "This is about one thing, and one thing alone, to score political points with the terrorist wing of their party, which is set to hold a Hate America rally in D.C. next week." Watch this moment.
This is about one thing, and one thing only, to score political points with the terrorist wing of their party, which is set to hold, as Leader Scalise just commented on, a Hate America rally in D.C. next week.
Folks, it isn't a Hate America rally. It's a protest in support, the protest against what's happening in the White House, a protest against what's happening in our nation today, a protest in support of equal rights, of civil liberties, and more. And there are thousands of people that are ready to show up on October 18th, millions of people across the globe. But that hasn't stopped Speaker Mike Johnson from going even further than Tom Emmer, calling it a Hate America rally and asserting that, quote, the Antifa crowd, the pro-Hamas crowd, and the Marxists would be gathering on the National Mall for, quote, outrageous purposes. Check this out.
And because of this nonsense, and we're so angry about it. I mean, I'm a very patient guy, but I have had it with these people. They're playing games with real people's lives. The theory we have right now, they have a Hate America rally that's scheduled for October 18th on the National Mall. It's all the pro-Hamas wing and the Antifa people. They're all coming out. Some of the House Democrats are selling T-shirts for the event, and it's being told to us that they won't be able to reopen the government until after that rally because they can't face their rabid base. I mean, this is serious business hurting real people. And I'm beyond words. I can't believe they're actually doing this.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker.
One part of this really stands out to me. The use of the word Antifa. Antifa, as you know, is a decentralized organization. It's an organization with no known leader. It's essentially just a decentralized conglomerate of groups across the country. But that hasn't stopped Speaker Mike Johnson from describing the upcoming protest as Antifa-led. And that, to me, shows that they are trying to quell the amount of people that are going to show up. Because earlier this year, the Trump administration signed an executive order designated Antifa as a terrorist organization, despite the fact that, once again, there is no leader. It is a decentralized group. And so what Mike Johnson is setting the stage for is for the Trump administration to potentially go after individual protesters or the groups that are helping lead it. And well, that should danger everyone. That should scare everyone. And this morning, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy repeated the false claim that the protests are Antifa-led and, quote, paid for, and once again questioned who is funding the protests. Check this out.
But again, the No Kings protest, Maria, really frustrating. I mean, this is part of Antifa, paid protesters. It begs the question, who's funding it? But yeah, Democrats want to wait for a big rally of a No Kings protest when the bottom line is, who's running the show in the Senate? Chuck Schumer's not running the show. The No Kings protesters or organizers are running the show. Is AOC threatening a primary against Chuck Schumer? Is she running the show? But you need a strong leader in the Senate to take control and make decisions. And Chuck Schumer's blowing in the breeze. He has no power, no authority, because he's given it up to his primary opponent, potentially in AOC, or to the No Kings protester organizers, and it's shameful.
And Secretary
Duffy's talking points are nothing more than attempts to delegitimize dissent and distract from the legitimate grievances that are fueling these movements across the country. Demonstrators are coming out and they're marching, they're protesting, and millions of people across the globe are ready to do it. Now, I do want to talk about why this is so important, because if No King's Day 2.0 reaches its projected size, it would meet what political scientists call the 3.5% rule. Harvard professor Erica Chenoweth and researcher Maria Stefan found that when just 3.5% of the population actively participates in sustained nonviolent protest, those movements almost always succeed in bringing about political or societal change. Nonviolent resistance movements are typically larger, more diverse, and more durable than violent ones, and they often lead to significant shifts in power. What we are witnessing is not just a fringe event. It's a broad, coordinated, and deeply patriotic assertion that the United States of America belongs to its people, not to one man or one administration. As misinformation continues to spread, it becomes even more important to rely on the direct reporting, verified facts, and the power of collective action. The attempts to brand millions of peaceful demonstrators as extremists are a reminder of why this movement is happening in the first place. And as a reporter, I look forward to being on the ground at the Washington, D.C. No King's Day protest this weekend and covering exactly what we're going to see on the ground. From speeches to signs to marches. We're going to have everything in Washington, D.C. A conservative estimate, if I had to guess, at least 100,000 people will show up for the No King's Day demonstration in Washington, D.C., potentially even more. And if 3.5% of the American population, if 10 million plus people come out and protest, well then 3.5%, that 3.5% rule will be triggered. And ultimately this weekend, folks, the world will watch as millions of Americans stand together to affirm a simple idea. There are no kings in America, and the people will always hold the power. If you want to support my work, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Hey folks, Aaron Parnas here. Thank you so much for watching The Parnas Perspective. Please consider subscribing to support our work as we grow this independent news media entity into something that rivals mainstream every single day. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.